So last time we saw you earlier this year, it didn't go. What were some of those takeaways, and what did you walk away kind of saying? All right, this is where I need to improve moving forward.
Well, obviously, I lost on the ground, lost with a rear naked choke, but I felt like the fight was going quite well. I felt like I was having some success, you were having some success, but uh, basically just came back and just kept nailing the jiu-jitsu because I don't really get stopped on the feet. I don't really get challenged on the feet really. It's more on the ground. So yeah, I just went back, filled a few holes that needed filling, and then that's it.
And did you want to fight again sooner, or was this always the plan to kind of take a little extra time before you moved up to lightweight?
To be fair, I wanted to fight because I fought in January. I wanted to fight again in May, but uh, we tried getting a few matchups there, but it didn't end up coming through. And then we tried for July, and I just said, well, I'm gonna have the summer off and just regroup again in September. So that's what we did. Obviously, I had no intention of going up to lightweight. They contacted me and I agreed. Asked if I'd do a catch weight, so I said yeah. But it wasn't meant to officially be at featherweight.
So are the plans moving forward to still stay at featherweight, or maybe gonna see how this one goes, see how you feel at lightweight?
No, I'll stay at featherweight. I'm not the biggest lightweight in the world, so I'll probably stay at featherweight. I make featherweight quite comfortably. So yeah, I'm more than likely staying at featherweight.
So your first octagon fight was in the UK, then Germany, now the Czech Republic. What does it mean to you to be able to explore the world and fight in different countries that, an opportunity a lot of fighters and people in general don't have?
Yeah, it's incredible. Obviously, it takes me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Most of my amateur and early pro career was on UKFC in Preston, so it was very much on home soil all the time and pretty much on my doorstep. So it took me out of my comfort zone a bit, but there's nothing better than just getting with your team, meeting up with your team at train station, getting a flight over to these other countries, beating everyone up, and then coming back. So yeah, it's a buzz, and yeah, it's a really good opportunity for me.
And does it make it a little easier to be able to travel and prepare with Jack, who's kind of going through the same experience?
Yeah, obviously, just going with people on the level of Jack is incredible because you get a different feel for for different styles, and you're talking about a guy who's won world titles. He's one of the best in the country, if not one of the best in the world at bantamweight. So it was a great experience, and yeah, I'm always surrounded by people who've been in this scenario. I've got people like Aaron Abbey and Steve Nightingale who both traveled the world quite a lot for fighting. So yeah, I'm quite fortunate the people I've got around me to share the experience with and get advice and guidance off people who've been in the same situation as me.
And so if you had the choice, would you fight in the UK every time, or do you like to travel a little bit?
I think I prefer to travel. Like I said, I've spent all my career in England, so going overseas is obviously much better, and it takes a little bit of the home pressure off you. Even though like people think that you're in their back garden, it must be a lot of pressure, but it's not. The pressure is when you've sold 100, 200, 300 tickets for people to come and watch you, and then that's a bigger pressure in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely prefer fighting overseas, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because a lot of fighters, oh, actually, I'd say about 50-50 fighters say that because not only that, when you're trying to cut weight, you're getting texts like, oh, I need tickets or I need this. And then everybody expects a lot from you during the after party, whether you win or lose.
Yeah, obviously you get different questions of people who who have intention of coming to watch, and I've got people messaging me about what flight you're on, what hotel you're staying in. So I still get similar type of questions, just not as much. So, but with this one, I'm just going over my team, getting the job done, and coming home.
So next up, you have Vladimir, undefeated boxer, but he's coming off a two-fight skid. So what do you think of him as a fighter, and what do you expect from him in the cage?
Yeah, I respect him as a fighter. I think he's obviously clearly talented. He's had a big career outside of MMA, and he's done well in MMA. Obviously the last two people he fought, that Torres and Samuel Bart, they're both high level guys. Samuel Bart's one of the best strikers, in Octagon. So I expect him to come out. I reckon he's going to try to push the pace in the wrestling. He's known for a striker, but I think he'll try press the wrestling. I think he's going to try fatigue me, which isn't going to happen. I think he's just going to load up on all his shots like he usually does. But I just don't think like when he fought Samuel Barker, I don't think Bark really capitalized on just the single shots. I think he was going single shots himself, where my shot selection is very, very good, and my understanding of striking is very good. And once I get that rhythm and timing, and that and I find your pattern, usually I'm gonna make find a way to stop you. Obviously, I tried doing that against Dennis in Germany, and to be fair, like the first half of the fight, when you notice like he's catching me big shots, then the second half when I started taking over, he started missing a lot. I found the distance, and I ended up catching a kick and it going to the ground. But yeah, I think that's going to be the same with Vladimir. I think he's going to come out really, really fast, trying to take my head off and trying to take me down. But I think I'll stop him.
And so there's the lightweight tournament going on in the same night. So are you going to be keeping a little bit of an extra eye on the other fights, because they're all, potential future opponents for you, even though you were saying you're going down to featherweight?
Obviously, there's some people on the there's some people on the fight at both. So obviously, I always keep an eye out. Anyone who's bantamweight, featherweight, or lightweight who can potentially, like be a future opponent. I always keep an eye on them anyway. So yeah, I'll be watching closely, definitely.
And so now I think after two fights, you're able to settle down in Octagon a little bit. What do you think of the promotion overall when it comes to behind the scenes?
Yeah, they're incredible. They're so organized, and they've got someone for every single job. You're not got one guy just running around like a headless chicken. just trying to do everything. They've got a good, solid structure, and I think that's what helps with the running of the show. You get an itinerary. Like I've already got my itinerary for what's going to happen from pretty much Thursday to Sunday. But yeah, they're absolutely brilliant, and all the staff are absolutely, they're perfect. They're so polite, and they're really, really good at the job. And I think that's credit to Andre and Pavel. I think that they set by example. They're really nice guys, and they treat us with nothing but respect. So yeah, I love Octagon. I love being part of it.
Was there any growing pains at all going from the UK regional scene to a promotion that is expanding worldwide?
No, to be fair, like my first fight in Octagon was like in an absolute packed out arena in Germany. 20,000, probably 20 plus thousand people. But I wasn't like when people say I wasn't nervous. Like it's not that I was nervous, like I'm going to get beat or anything like that. But it's just like, wow, I'm just about to walk out in front of 20,000 people, and you would think, like, what was weird was when you're on these regional shows, you think it's going to be years and years and years down the line before you're even on a stage like that. And then when I got signed to Octagon, I didn't know a massive amount about them, so I started doing my research. And I thought, wow, these guys put on a show. But this arena that I was going to be in was like the record. Do you know what I mean? That's going to be one of the biggest sellouts they've done. So I just thrived under it, to be honest. I just really, really enjoyed the process, and I had a good corner team with me. I walked out with my little brother, and that's something we've been dreaming of since I was 16-year-old. Being able to walk out on a stage like that, which you'd think instantly relate to UFC. You think you'd have to be in the UFC to get that, but Octagon have brought this platform for us to be able to deliver on, and that walking out with my brother and my corner team, Steve and Abe, was a dream come true for me. So every fight now is, like I said, a dream come true.
Is it almost time for your brother to make his pro debut?
Yeah, but definitely soon. He's just fought on the weekend. He was absolutely dominant from start to finish. He's dominant in all areas, and he's been maturing as a fighter. Do you know what I mean? There were a couple of holes like in his game, as in like sometimes it's not always in the cage, it's out the cage, and you have to deal with a few demons. So I think he's got all that, all that sorted now, and he's ready to take that step. And it won't be long until he's on the big stages, 100%.
And I actually had one general question about that. Nowadays in MMA, especially in the United States, fighters don't stick around and go on an extended run as an amateur fighter. So what was your experience like? And do you think that more fighters should stay and do maybe at least 10 amateur fights?
Yeah, definitely. I think your amateur fights, that's your building blocks. That's setting your foundation and nailing your fundamentals to get ready for that pro step. I've seen people take it too soon. I've seen people take it too late. I've seen people have one or two amateur fights, turn pro, and lose the first two or three fights, and that's it, really. Do you know what I mean? But then I've seen people have 20 odd amateur fights, turn pro, but by then they're already 29, 30. It's, not many shows are going to be signing a 30, 31-year old.
Yeah.
So, it is important, and it's important to have a good team behind you, understand the process, and understand, you don't want a yes man in your corner all the time who's going to tell you, yeah, you're ready to go, you're ready to go. You want a guy to say, like, possibly 1 or 2 more fights, we need to do this, this, and this, and then you're going to be ready for pro. And that's what Steve did with me and Zach. And with Zach obviously turning pro soon, and we've got a couple of lads turning pro. He won't turn you pro for just the sake of it. He'll make sure you're absolutely ready mentally, physically. Your attitude towards training, your preparation has got to be absolute nail before he'll be turning you pro. So it is massively important. And I would advise any fighter who's going to look to turn pro to make sure you get a good 10 to 15 fights where you've had all the tests that you need ready to make that step, because the step is big.
And last question I have for you, Octagon's really expanding into the UK, and I think they're still looking for a handful of superstars to build around. So how do you ensure one of those is you?
Well, just look at my track record. Even the fight I lost against Max was an entertaining fight from start to finish. Every fight I've ever been in has either ended in a knockout or it's been a fight in the night performance. The fight in Germany, I got fight of the night, and you could argue that I've had knockout of the night in every single fight I've had at pro. So, yeah, I just think I just bring something different to most people. I think I'm a well-rounded guy who can finish in any area. And I don't think you get a lot of one-dimensional guys. You get guys who specialize in striking, but I think I specialize in everything, and I just get the job done.
That's all I have for you today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope for all the best in your upcoming fight and moving forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time anyway.
So have a great rest of your day.
Take care.